Good evening. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Not from the usual places in the shed and the studio, but from the kitchen tonight. Kids are in bed, wife is at work. Had to compromise and do it from inside tonight. Where do we start? After a massive, massive win for Leicester fans, not only just winning a game of football for this time, the first time this season, but beating Nottingham Forest 4-0, smashing them, sending them packing back to the City ground. It's what Leicester fans wanted, some revenge, and I think we got that on Monday night. But obviously that means nothing. It means nothing at all if we can't go to Bournemouth and get a result. And Leicester fans now expect that performance against Forest, now it was a bang average Forest team, but to go against another team who have just been promoted, who had some good results, had some really shocking results, but it's not going to be an easy game. Tonight, I'm joined by John from Cherries Red Army. We'll chat about last season, getting promoted. Obviously, Scott Park, beginning of the season manager, and where they're going to go with it at the moment. Gary O'Neill, the current manager of Bournemouth. Will they keep him for a bit longer? He's had a couple of good results, or do they look for a new manager? So let's get John in. Evening, John.
All right, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, thanks. Let's start. Obviously, last season must have been brilliant. You know, a couple of seasons away from the Premier League football in the Championship, and then Scott Parker comes along and gets you promoted back to the Premier League. How was last season with Scott Parker in charge? Because a lot of talk of obviously had a good success at Fulham, got to the Premier League, got sacked. He's come to you boys and done the same. But before we go into what's gone off this season, how was the football under Scott Parker in last season in the Championship for you boys?
How was the football? That had its ups and downs, but let's say it wasn't the most entertaining football to watch. And while yes, it's easy to say in hindsight, having had issues with Parker, that he's obviously since moved on. He did complete his objective. As much as I think that he never really quite got on fully with the fans. I don't think the fans fully accepted him because of his style of play. I think because of the way, partially because of the way that he talked, I think as well. And it just never quite clicked. And while he did occasionally feel as though he was starting to warm to the fans, we're very used to a particular style of football as Bournemouth. We've been very lucky to have Eddie Howe for so many years, and even before that, always been a very tried to play football on the deck, being the ones that are controlling possession and creating chances. And Parker very frequently would find that as soon as you got into a winning position, that's it. We'll settle in, and 1-0 is good enough. 2-0 is great. We're definitely not going to try and score another one if it's 2-0. And it got frustrating for fans for several periods, because when the results dried up, the performances weren't there to make you go, well, at least there's that. And he completed his objective. We can certainly say that. But certainly if you ask Fulham fans what they think of Parker, Bournemouth fans are probably roughly in a similar spot now. We've both come up, both not done as well as probably should have done, given the squads that were available to him both times around. And then we get into the Premier League after that.
So obviously, come up. You beat Forest at the 2-1, I think it was.
3-2.
3-2. Sorry, to go promote for Kiefer Moore.
Sorry, promotion was 2-1. Yes, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of this.
This season.
Yeah.
So you beat 2-1. Kiefer Moore with a winner in about the 89th minute, I think it was, and snatched Jaws from defeat. Obviously, it would have gone down to the final game of the season if you'd drawn the game. But obviously, you meant Forest went into the playoffs, and you boys came up in second place behind a very good Fulham team. Let's not get it wrong. Spent some money, and we're seeing that this season. What does Parker change then? What players has he brought in to try and strengthen the squad for another go at the Premier League? Because obviously you boys had 3 years, I think it was, in the Premier League. Was it 3 years or 4 years the first time round? And we all know once you go down, it's very hard to get back up and then stay up, because the gap every season now is getting bigger and bigger, and the squads are getting better and better. So the teams who come up find it very difficult to compete, if we're honest, sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were up for 5 years under Eddie Howe first time round, and then it was in the end that Forest game was a 1-0 win, beating them second last game of the season to secure promotion. And Parker's plan in us coming up was seemingly that he didn't feel as though he didn't feel as though he was confident in us playing the same kind of football that we were playing again in the Championship, which wasn't that brilliant, which wasn't overly exciting, but it was certainly a more dominant style of football. We made sure that we generally had more possession than the opposition, and we definitely tried to build up attacks from the back. It just was very, very slow. And he knew that you can't do that in the Premier League because you're going to get picked off, you're going to get pressed, and he just felt he had to basically throw his entire plan out the window and start again, and turned our 4-3-3 possession style into a very defensive, low block 5-4-1. And it started well. It started well with a win against Villa, and a win that I don't think many people saw coming. We were very strong defensively. We didn't really give them a sniff, and we only really made maybe 3 chances in that game, but we scored from 2 of them. And so it was a really good start. That kind of glossed over the fact that it wasn't the greatest football again, and obviously in hindsight, Villa have also not been very good this season. So you can look at it in that way as well. He brought in a few players. He brought in a goalkeeper, Neto, who's taken over from Travers, who's been very good this season. Has got, I think, the highest win save percentage in the league at the moment. But we haven't, he's only played in the 4 games since a lot of difficult games. Marcus Tavernier has been very good at right wing. He's a dribbler that we don't really have so much in the squad at the moment, or at least not playing regularly. And then a few others. Ryan Fredericks on a free. He has been injured most of the time. You've got Joe Rothwell from Blackburn. He's been injured the entire time. And I'm sure there was another one. Marcus Senesi at centre-back, who's actually been really good. He was playing in the Conference League final for Feyenoord at the end of last season. We brought him in for 12 to 15 million pound, so a really, really good buy there. And Tavernier was the only other one that cost anything for about 15 million pounds from Middlesbrough. So we go into games against City, then Arsenal, then Liverpool. We lose 4-0 away, 3-0 at home, and 9-0 away. And the football was incredibly defensive, and that's exactly what you would expect. No one was expecting to get any results out of the game. We had to play defensive. But after the 9-0 loss, where Parker had essentially set us up in a 4-4-2 at Anfield, which from the first kick looked like a bit like career suicide, he then decided to basically say the team isn't good enough to compete at this level, and the board need to do more for us. And this echoed some statements that he'd made towards the end of pre-season. And after saying that twice on camera to the media and to onto the papers as well, the board, clearly having warned him the first time round, went in the second time and said, "Look, we told you. Why did you do it again? We'll see you later." The 9-0, as many people probably initially thought, wasn't really the reason that he got sacked. The reason he got sacked was because after the result, he basically said his team wasn't good enough and the board needs to do more. And the board went, fine. You've basically said, back me or sack me, and they've gone, okay, see you later. So, so that was the end of Parker at Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the result, the opening day of the season, I think we're all in the ground, and suddenly when you heard it's 1-0 to Bournemouth after 2 minutes, you're thinking, oh dear, not the start Villa fans wanted, but the start you boys would have chose to win that game 2-0, especially with the fixtures you had then coming up. Obviously, the 4-0 loss to Man City, 3-0 loss against Arsenal. You then drew with Norwich in the cup, but won on penalties. You lost the 9-0, and obviously, that was the end of Scott Parker's tenure. And but by the sound of it, we've had that a bit with it. Rodgers at times, who's questions a lot of things, the board, the fans, and he's still here for some reason. But things changed after that. You then brought in Gary O'Neill, a player or a person I remember seeing playing at Portsmouth and other clubs over the years as a fan of football. How has he done? Because obviously you've had some cracking results. You got a 0-0 draw at Wolves, to get yourself back into, a 0-0 draw after losing 9-0 is, for me, a clean sheet is brilliant. To then go and beat Forest when you were 2-0 down at half time, and Gary O'Neill didn't think, well, this is working, and he changed it. Now, not many managers go and change things 2-0 down. Some will think, let's not get hammered, and some will think, let's see where the result finishes. But being your second game in charge, go, do you know what? Now I'm going to change this. I'm going to match Forest, and we're going to have a go at them. that must have been something special in the ground. I don't know if you were at the game, but that means something really special to see a manager go, "No, we're going to go for this. We're not just going to take it on the chin and lose another game. We're going to go out and win it." And the players to have the belief to go and do that. That's another thing as well.
Yeah, I was at the ground. That was definitely my favourite away day ever, following Bournemouth, without a doubt. Particularly after Forest had been sort of slowly creeping up on us in the Championship, and they had developed something of a there'd been something of internet rivalry developing between Bournemouth and Forest. So for us to come back from 2-0 down to smack them 3-2 was fantastic. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Anil. So yes, he was made. He's been made temporary manager. He actually came into the club about a season and a half ago. He was brought in initially not too long after Jonathan Woodgate had been made. Had been given the job to the end of the season, the year before the season before Parker came in, and O'Neill was brought in as part of the backroom staff to kind of replace Woodgate, who'd moved up. And obviously very highly rated from his time with Liverpool's youth team, and from the sounds of things, is a really good coach. Has certainly helped the players in the back develop over last season and part of the way through this season. A lot of the players have been talking about how great he is to work with. It's a funny one. The results have definitely improved. I think the fact that the solidity at the back has been very impressive to see. And the players have definitely stepped up in that regard and worked really, really hard. I mean, Bournemouth have always had centre backs that throw their bodies on the line to block a shot. Simon Francis, Steve Cook, Tommy Elphick, to name a few. But the caveat to that is that our attacking hasn't really improved much. We did score 3 against Forest, and that was due to a very sensible change by O'Neill. We matched them up quite, as you said, we matched them up with information and very close to anyway, and completely dominated them for the second half of the game and took the 3. We basically only had 3 chances, and the first goal wasn't really much of a chance. It was a 25-yard screamer from Phil Billing, but we took the few chances that we made. And that's been the story of our goals so far this season. We haven't hit over 1xG yet in a game this season. It's a little bit worrying at the moment, the lack of chances that we're creating, but we are being relatively efficient with the chances we are making. The good news is that to counter that, we are being very, very good at the back. You said 0-0 draw against Wolves. We kept them to maybe 1 decent chance. The 2 goals against Forest were disappointing, but once we started dominating the game, we had that one. And then we were unlucky to concede against Newcastle. The handball that was given there was a bit of an iffy one. So I couldn't understand why it was given, but it was a bit on the line. But other than that, we kept them very, very quiet when we went to Newcastle, and then obviously clean sheet against Brentford. We still had the best chance in that game, but we did keep Ivan Toney relatively quiet. We've got 3 home clean sheets this season, 3 from 4 games. No team has got more home clean sheets than Bournemouth this season, which is saying something for a team that conceded, 16 in 3 games. So, we're going to be quite a boring side this season, I have a feeling, if O'Neill stays in charge. And I think the fact that our attacking hasn't improved much is starting to make some fans kind of go, no, we don't want to lose you as a coach, because you're clearly a good coach, but you haven't got us going to the point we think we probably can.
Yeah.
Maybe a more experienced manager can come in and try and develop something more, because the good news is the back line is really good. It's actually better than I think most people that aren't keeping an eye on Bournemouth will probably give them credit for. So now we need to do something, create more going forward, and maybe someone else can come in and help with that.
Obviously, talk about the Brentford game. I think it was right. So you should have had a penalty in the 90th minute. Was there a VAR incident that I heard about in the game? Or I think I've seen that again. VAR robbed you in some ways. We had one Monday night, and I can't get my head around VAR and handballs. You can get one given for one thing, and then 10 minutes later for something very similar, it doesn't get given. So it was all right. I think there was a VAR checked in the 90th minute. Was it?
Yeah, it was last kick of the game, basically, 94th minute or whatever it was. To be fair, I don't think that one was a handball, but I can see why some people would, because he miskicks it into the ground and it bounces up
That's it.
on
Yeah.
the outstretched arm that he's got as he's trying to keep his balance and as he swings at it. That's never a pen with the current rules, but you could see why, because his arms are massively outstretched and it's stopped and he's in the box. So on another day in another set of rules, then it's a blatant handball. But just with the current accidental nature of it, it's definitely not. However, there was one before that in the first half where one of our players was taken out in just on the edge of the box while the defender was sliding through and misses with the first kick and then just taps the ball with the second leg as he's coming through, but completely takes out the player in the process. And I think that should have been a penalty, as much as I can see why it wasn't. The funny thing is, though, is that's the second time this season that a decision has been given not in our favour. The referee's gone to the monitor and decided to stick with his decision, which doesn't happen. Like, I don't think that's happened ever in the Prem other than twice for Bournemouth. I don't know of any other incidents where a referee has stuck with their decision outside of the Bournemouth game. Might have happened once or twice, but it happened to Bournemouth twice in a month and a half. So it's just not working for us at the moment. We still haven't got a penalty yet this season, and we've had two given against us, both by VAR. But actually, no, one by VAR and one where it wasn't overturned by VAR. But so yeah, we've not got the greatest relationship with VAR.
Obviously, you probably didn't want Leicester to win on Monday night because it obviously meant they came just up behind you a little bit. And obviously it gave them that little bit of confidence because we all know we are scoring goals this season. It's not been any problem scoring goals. It's been keeping them out. Obviously with our new defender, Faz, at the back, it probably was a big lift on Monday night to see him play his first full game at home. He played away at Tottenham and no one was very unsure what you were going to get after losing 6-2 on his debut. You're thinking, is he going to be a player? But Monday night we saw a one hell of a player come on, played the game and was outstanding at the back. What have you made of Leicester? What have you seen of them? And what are your thoughts going into game against Leicester for Bournemouth? And do you think you can get a result, or do you think this is now the tide is turning in the Leicester season and that they will start pulling away from the bottom?
It's difficult to know at the moment because that Forest side are really not very good right now. And I don't blame Steve Cooper at all for that. I really like him as a manager. He just is put in a very awkward situation where he's got players that think they're going to start and 2 weeks later their third choice left back. So, it's interesting because Leicester, I think, you could kind of see it coming. Not this bad a season, but you could see it coming because as you've had 2 or 3 seasons of sort of nearly reaching exactly where you wanted to be, and that amount of time where it doesn't quite happen, and then suddenly no new signings, no freshening things up. Even if you've got a good squad, that new signing is there to sort of like it gets people on their toes a bit more because now they're thinking I might lose my place or something like that. Whereas when that doesn't happen, and then you've got Rodgers, who I think he's a good manager, but I mean he has had his moments definitely at clubs where it's sort of like not carried on or something. He's gone through dips and then it happened. But to be fair, it was a sliding doors moment against Brentford. If you kept either kept a clean sheet or won that 1-2-1, not conceded 2 goals right at the end, you probably wouldn't be nowhere near this situation. You probably have won 2 or 3 of the next 6 or 7 games. So it's just been an unfortunate sort of downhill slide that you found it difficult to arrest, but thankfully Nottingham Forest were there for you, so that helped you out. But you're right. I was hoping for that game to be either a lot closer or for Forest to maybe nick a point to sort of keep you in not as high spirits. But all told, some very good goals and no surprise because you've still got some very good players. And James Maddison is obviously the worry. And because O'Neill hasn't been all that consistent with his starting lineup so far, I think in the first 4 games he's played 4 different formations. Or if not formations, definitely never the same personnel. So I think he's continually trying to adapt to sort of play the opposition team, which is maybe why we're not playing as good at it going forward. We're very much sort of like, let's keep them out first and see what we can nick. This is going to be one of our best chances to really go out there and try and stamp our authority on a game. Not because Leicester aren't any good, it's just that Leicester aren't in the greatest form. And 1 goal against you could completely wreck the confidence that you've built up. It's just how things are with a team that are stuck down the bottom. So, yeah, I was a lot more confident Sunday, and then Monday came and you won 4-0 and I went, damn it, that's yeah. So I'm still hoping that we get a win, but a draw wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I'm certainly hoping that we go out and try and get the win.
Obviously, you just said it's very difficult to predict O'Neill's team. What would you say, your opinion, if you can't pick it? What do you think he should be going into that game as formation, and what 11 would you probably pick if you can't really give us an idea what he should be doing or what he would pick for this weekend?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what he's going to pick at all. I'd like to be able to, but I'm pretty sure he'll. I'm pretty certain he'll stick with the back four, particularly with Lloyd Kelly injured. He should have the back four will probably stay the same, along with the keeper of Neto, and then you've got Jordan Zamora at left back. You've got Marcus Senesi, Chris Mepham, and Adam Smith. That back five should stay the same, and then it's midfield. You'll definitely see Jefferson Lerma in there. You'll definitely see Lewis Cook, and you'll definitely see Philip Billing. I would imagine Billing, top scorer at the moment, when given the opportunity, can completely can pop up from anywhere with a goal and can really help run a game. Jefferson Lerma is obviously very, very combative, was famous for getting all those yellow cards, but he actually got his first one of the season in the last game. So he's been very, very much more disciplined this time around. Lewis Cook, probably my favourite player if he plays in the number 6, because he was a fantastic deep line playmaker for last season, but it's not really, with all the formation changes, that position just isn't there anymore. And Lerma will probably take it to be the more defensive ball winner. So, and then you're probably going to see some combination of Ryan Christie and Marcus Tavernier out wide. Christie was rested in the last game, and Philip Billing was kind of played as a left mid. Didn't work at all for him at all in that 4-4-2. And that's partly because he played Kiefer Moore up top, which I think was meant to be the combative player to partner Dom Solanke, but that partnership didn't work at all. So I would expect to see Moore dropped out and Solanke start as the central striker. If it was me, I'd actually like to play a 4-3-3, and as much as I've got nothing against Christie, I would like to play one of our youngsters, Jaden Anthony, at left wing, who had a really good season last season and formed a fantastic little partnership with himself, Philip Billing, and Jordan Zamora down that left-hand side. And one of the reasons why I'd like to see that is because one of the things that watching other football accounts talk about in that game was how much James Maddison being played off the right actually comes in quite a lot and doesn't support his right back very much. And I feel as if we can sort of try and put a lot more work into that left-hand side and create overloads, we might find some success. I would hope that O'Neill has spotted that and will try and take some advantage of it. But I can probably name at least 9 of the players that will start. I just don't know necessarily where they're going to start.
And the all-important question: what is your prediction for Saturday's game?
That's a tough one. We're on a really good run of really good defensive run at home, and I reckon we could keep that going. We have shown to be really solid, and Brentford are no mugs, and we kept them to a clean sheet. So I think we'll keep a clean sheet, and I'm hoping that we'll nick a goal. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 win.
John, thank you for joining me tonight. Much appreciated, mate.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I won't say good luck for the weekend because we're dying for the points to catch you boys up. But hopefully after that, you boys can stay up for another season in the Prem, because it's always great to have a trip down to the coast anyway.
Yeah, lovely place to come visit. Hopefully the weather is better.
Hey, let's hope so. Thanks, John, for tonight, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
And there we go. That was John from the Cherries Red Army. As always, thank you for watching. Get your comments in. We appreciate everyone who does it. What can we say? It's another massive game for Leicester City on Saturday. We need 3 more points on the board. We then have another massive game against Crystal Palace a week later. 3 points Saturday is vital after the Forest game, as I said before. But for now, thank you for watching Leicester Fan TV. Good night.